Good morning, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Please test the spirit and take the words back to God to ensure that the words are for you, okay? Now, the Lord wants you to know that it's going to be all worth it. You know, when you look at the lives, there's a siren. When you look at the lives of so many people, their lives may look easy because of the circumstances they're in. Even when they tell you, I went through this or I went through that in my past, and they share the obstacles they had to face, it's different hearing it versus experiencing it. It may sound like a really bad thing they had to go through, but seeing them in that position, it's like you're not focused too much on the obstacle, but you're more so focused on their rewards, their blessing. So yes, you hear their story, but you won't understand the pain of it unless you've actually been in a situation similar or unless you're actually in that situation yourself currently. However, one of the things that people will tell you is that while they were going through these trials and tribulations, it strengthened them. It prepared them for where God took them. And not only did it prepare them for this, but it gave them wisdom. It taught them how to be extremely grateful and humble after what they've gone through. And they see life differently because of it. And they also understand the importance of having God in their life. And while they're in a position where their life has transformed, they have that revelation that everything that they have gone through was worth it because of where they are today. Now, I want to remind you guys about Joseph and the trials and tribulations that he went through. From being deceived by his own brothers, thrown in a pit, then sold. From being falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, being kicked out of Potiphar's home after helping Potiphar accumulate way more wealth than he originally had. And then having to be in the prison only for his breakthrough to happen while he was in that prison, and him being released and being able to accompany the king. Every obstacle that he went through, it led him to his outcome. So in the midst of you going through that obstacle, you may not even realize in that moment it's a part of your journey to the outcome. And that in order to pass this level, you have to go through that in the moment. But when Joseph got to his position of accompanying the king, I'm pretty sure that's when he realized that everything that he went through up until that point was worth it. And you know why? Because it's what led him there. That was the journey that was supposed to lead him there. Similar to Esther. Esther being an orphan, not having parents. That alone is a very hard reality for anyone to go through. Being taken away from her family and being placed in a home where there's plenty other women waiting to be chosen by a king. Imagine the emotions of going through that. I've been taken from where I'm used to, my home, placed in this new home, and there's all these other women around me, and all of us are waiting to be picked by a king. Imagine the emotions of that. After being picked, you would think that she'd be like, okay, now I can rest, now I can relax, but no. The whole point of all this happening was to lead her to her assignment. Imagine the stress of someone threatening to kill her people. Imagine being told by your uncle, the one that you were raised with, that you are in a position where you can change this. Imagine all the weight that was on her, knowing that not only does she have to reveal her identity now to the king, but she also has to bring a request to the king to free her people. And then knowing on top of that, that there's a possibility of her perishing while doing this. Imagine all the weight that's on her. At the end, her people were set free. And the very person that plotted against them was impaled on the pole. Could you imagine the relief and her feeling that everything she has gone through in her life was worth it? All the heartache, all the pain, all the anxiety she went through, it was all worth it? because she was able to free her people. Same thing with David, being chased by Saul, running for all this time, trying to save his life, going through all what he has gone through. We see the book of Psalms. David went through a lot. At the end, you saw God tell David that he can rest and not to worry about building the temple for God because Solomon was going to end up building it. Just imagine the relief that David felt after everything that he'd gone through, knowing that God was going to take care of his son and knowing that his son was going to be able to fulfill what it is that he originally wanted to do. Pretty sure he realized in that moment that everything that he went through was worth it. Because why? The rewards are far more greater than the persecution. The rewards are far more greater than the trials and tribulations that you're going through. And the prophecy that God has shown you pertaining to your life, the outcome, where he's leading you to, it's far more greater than the pressure you are feeling in the moment. And you're gonna look back when you get to your destination and you're gonna say to yourself, everything that I went through, it was worth it. To be here, it was worth it. And that is why God is continuing to push you. And that is why he doesn't want you to give up. So when you see your circumstances today, and it may feel like you're never going to get out of it, remember what I said. Remember Esther, remember David, remember Jesus. And I'm pretty sure God looks down at his faithful servants and he says, it was worth it. Remember that what you feel right now pertaining to your situation, it's not permanent. What is permanent is your outcome, your destination. And when you look back, you're going to realize everything that you went through, it was worth it. I love you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.